Hello everyone, my name is Moji. You're watching a Bitcoin bubble news channel. I said between 250,000 and a million next year. Would you like one number? Yes, 650,000. Thanks for coming back to the channel, Crypto Family. As you heard, Jack Morris said that Bitcoin would be worth an amazing $650,000 next year. That would be tremendously huge. Also, if you're new to the channel, please think about subscribing, just like the movie says. It helps get this information to people who don't know much about Bitcoin and crypto, so they can learn and join in. Hop on the Bitcoin train, and Jack will talk about Bitcoin vs. the rest of the crypto in today's show. What do you think will happen with Solana and Ethereum? What's wrong with Bitcoin right now and why you might want it if World War III starts? You should watch this video all the way through because it has a lot of useful information. Also, remember to like and follow, as I already said. Now let's play the clip. The market can stay crazy for a lot longer than you can stay broke. I don't want to say no, and I don't want any of these things to die either. What do you mean exactly? I don't know what the price is or if Bitcoin Cash even exists today. I don't know, you could say it doesn't, but it does, right? It might have a spot price, but no one cares about it. I think it will exist, so I'm going to say that. While it may still be interesting, I don't think it will be as important in the future as it is now. Yes, all of it. I think these are what I call arbitrage on the trend trades. What is an arbitrage deal anyway? Yes, the banana to my left I can buy for $1, and the banana to my right I can sell for $10. All day long, I'm making $9 arbitraging. I believe that this trend is an arbitrage trade, and that Bitcoin is becoming a new center for technology. Ways to make money off of that? How do you make money with that? The two types of arbitrage are regulatory arbitrage and data arbitrage. I can make a pink coin, a mark coin, and a jack coin. The difference won't be clear to them. I have a lot of crap to sell them. Then there's regulatory arbitrage, which is like being your own central bank. It is normally against the law for you to make money and sell it to people, but you can do it. This is what I call an arbitrage deal. Trades based on arbitrage don't last forever. They're neither new ideas nor big changes. These deals don't last long. So, I believe that the window, you sell enough bananas for $10 and buy enough for one that the prices of the two equal $5. So I think the trade will end at some point, and people will no longer be able to be scammed by a new technology trend in that window. I think it gets harder and harder to start your shitcoin and make everyone believe it's important. 10 years ago, it was really simple. It's more difficult now. Things will likely be tougher in 10 years. Most likely that's Bitcoin. Its main issue is probably that it's not possible to put $5 trillion into this asset right now without sending the price skyrocketing. It's still early. It's still alive inside a small body. It's not likely that the Fed will buy, though. No, I mean that the US government does have Bitcoin. Do I think there's probably a business reason they haven't sold those yet? Yes. So, just in case they thought it might be a good idea to keep these, I believe they are aware of it and are planning ahead for it. Since I live there, I would have to say that. I hope that's true, but I don't think the Fed is buying yet. The United States was strong during both world wars in large part because of the things they did to get ready for them after the Great Depression. All of the debts, loans, and fiat money systems and policies were wiped out by the Great Depression. It was time to start over with sound money, and the US was in a great situation there. All of that I do believe. And I believe the US gained this power by being successful and able to help other countries. The US now says, hey, we'll help you get back on your feet. How are we going to do that? Since you're broke from the war and don't have anything, we won't make anything for ourselves and try to sell it to you. Instead, you'll make something and give it to us. And these guys are selling us raw materials for very little money. That way, people in our area can get jobs making that raw material, and we can send all of our debt and our new cash to them. We are now on the US government and bond market standard instead of the gold standard. And that needs to happen less often now that everyone is back on their feet. Yes, for countries to fall, they need to take on too much work, giving up easy ways to make money that are no longer available. So I think the world we live in now is, hey, I'm glad everyone's healthy and back on their feet. Let's get back to just being good people. The United States, on the other hand, has reached and dominated too far, and there aren't any easy ways to boost output. When you borrow money, you expect growth to pay it back. That's why the productivity gains are so important. That's why you can't repay the loan if there aren't any simple ways to make more money. So there isn't any, everyone else is like, well, we're making things, a lot of the war today is like, I make things, I want to sell them to you. Everyone says, No, I'm making things and I want to sell them to you. Everyone makes too much stuff. Because everyone has printed so much money, there is an endless amount of leisure time and energy. That means there is an infinite amount of stuff. As an example of this, I like the empty wardrobe that I make out of, because it shows that we live in a world with too much stuff. How the fuck did any woman use that as a closet? That's where I sit. It's completely crazy. I believe that needs to end. Most of the time, these things lead to world wars. People are never ready to let go of a kingdom, so it never ends peacefully. That's what I'm afraid of, right? You can't say for sure that that won't happen anymore. For sure, things have become scary lately. So that's why it's a tough subject, but I think what you're seeing is just that coming apart. And I have hope. The way fights are fought today might be digitally instead of physically with weapons and missiles. We could fight them like how other countries might own Google and Facebook or something. Though I hope it doesn't involve blood, it's still a worry. The Bitcoin piece is the first time in the history of the fall of a kingdom that they print money and borrow too much of it. Treat the people badly and treat them badly, as if we all had an exit for the first time. Right on. There has never been an escape that is quiet, hidden, and lacks weight. Since it doesn't weigh anything and won't hurt anyone, I can put it in my brain, so there's no need for anyone to know. If there's chaos on the street and the Great Depression hits, I'll come to your house, beat the crap out of you, and take the gold that you have. I mean, no one can tell from looking at you that you only know 12 words. So it's a quiet, empty, and unnoticeable exit. So that's the one special thing about this time if this is the end of an empire. As always, weaker currencies will lose to stronger ones. It's kind of like a ranked list. Suppose Bitcoin is at the top. The dollar might be below it, and the Naira would be below that all the way. These things are going to pile on top of each other, and maybe you'll only be left with Bitcoin. But the issue with that thought, or the possible issue, is that the risk is built into the system. That means that if one person fails, then everyone fails. Japan is very weak right now, so the US just started a swap line with them. The US can't pay for that because what does everyone have now that World War II is over? Our money is kept safe in US funds. So what should they do if they get into trouble? Get rid of the reserves. The US will also go down if they sell the stocks and the bond market dies. We are all in the same boat when I say that risk is institutionalized. If the boat has a hole in it, we're all going to sink. It's the Titanic, stupid. Listen, bank runs were a lot slower in 2008 than they are now, as we can see. We live in a world that is very linked now that we are in the digital age. We have a lot in common. When the Japanese yen was gone, they would act right away, just like the bond market did. Yes, later, but I don't know how much later. It could be 10 minutes later, 10 days later, 10 months later, but not 10 years later. They've made risk part of the system. Because it's so big, printing money is the only way out. No one's money is in the bank, even if you let all the banks fail and start over during the Great Depression. Where are all of you going? Bitcoin. There are two sneaky ways to get out. The sneakier way out is to print money, but that's the trouble. As a result, they've institutionalized too much risk. In theory, the dollar